recorded now. So once again, if you have any questions, you can write them right there in the box. I'll be happy to answer them. And then in the meanwhile, while you start writing your questions in there, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start on what I have here to present. And if you come up with something or you think there's something that you'd like to know, even if it's not necessarily about what I'm talking about, and you'd like to put your question for it, that I will go ahead and answer it. Just write it right there in the box and then interrupt me. All right, so I'm going to turn on my screen here. And let's turn on the screen. And hopefully you can see my screen. Once again, for those of you who are coming in at right now, if you have any questions about something that you're trying to do in your internet marketing business, this is the time to ask. And we do this every weekend. So feel free to go ahead and ask. And so you'll see that I've got up here that we're going to be doing the warm-up to the 30-day challenge here tonight. And what I'm going to talk about for the most part, let's see, how many of you all can see my screen? I'm trying to make sure go to webinar, you can see my screen and go to webinar. Okay, if you can see my screen, please put the letter Y in the question box. And let's just make sure that you can see my screen here. Okay, great. Thank you, Richard. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I want to do the warm-up to the 30-day challenge tonight. And as you know, last year what we talked about is that we basically really got into the basics of internet marketing. And we got into what you'd have to do in order to start building a business. And really and truly, when we started last year, one of the things that we did is we defined internet marketing as a trade, right? We defined internet marketing as a trade. We talked about how we shouldn't look at things much different than any other tradesman or woman. So if you know of a tradesperson, we talked about the fact that in understanding internet marketing as a trade, we didn't want to look at things any differently. We didn't want to do anything less than someone who was going into being a carpenter, someone who was going to be a plumber, someone who was going to be a tradesman. That really is a starting point for internet marketing. And so once you really understand where you have to go in order to do that, then you are going to be fine in terms of moving forward. Let's see, Jupiter Jim, you can't hear. Can everybody else? It looks like everybody else can hear me. So see if you can do something with your speakers. I think everybody else can hear me. Okay. Okay. So we talked about last year about what tools you're going to need, right? What training you're going to need, what preparation you're going to need. And basically what I wanted the 30-day challenge last year to be is that I wanted it to be something that you could go back and look at as a reference, right? And if you can go out and if you can find and you can see and understand the tools and training, then you'd be able to build your business just fine. At the very least, you should be at the point where you'd be creating products, and then once you start to create start the product creation process, you'll start to see some other things that we're going to be talking about here this year. Now, this year in the 30-day challenge, what we're going to be discussing is how we turn those products that we talked about last year in the 30-day challenge, how we turn those tools and training and preparation and all those things into a sustainable income. And we want to answer the question, what should we be chasing? What should we be trying to build as internet marketers? So when you're trying to build a list, when you're launching on JVZoo, when you're launching on the Warrior Forum, when you're launching on ClickBank, what is the ultimate goal? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to set up? What are we trying to reach? What are we trying to ultimately get to? And that's really what this year's 30-day challenge is going to do. And we want to talk about something that I introduced earlier this week, and I introduced the idea of 1,000 true fans. And 1,000 true fans is the means. We're also going to talk about the method, And we're going to talk about the material and the meaning, because those are going to be the things we're going to go over each week during the 30-day challenge. The means, which is 1,000 true fans, we're going to take a week and really dive into that. Understand what that means. Understand what that means in terms of how you're going to use that as an internet marketer. The method. Right, we're going to talk about the method and how we're going to actually get those 1,000 true fans. We're going to talk about the material. Now, you know, I'm a PLR creator, so I believe in PLRs. We're going to talk about how we use PLR to get those 1,000 true fans. And then we're going to talk about why it's important. And we're going to wrap up with that. Now, I'm going to go over these things briefly tonight, but you are going to understand after tonight the overview, what we're going to be talking about and how we're going to do it. Because the easiest thing to understand for us to be able to do is to do the what, right? We can do the what tonight, but the harder thing to do is for us to be able to do the just to do the how, and that's what we're going to be doing in the 30-day challenge. So what do we mean by the 1,000 true fans? We went over that this week earlier in the last webinar I did, and so I want to talk about that briefly tonight. And it's an article written by a gentleman named Kevin Kelly. And if you haven't read it, I'm gonna highly suggest that you read it. If you Google Kevin Kelly and 1,000 true fans, you will find an article by him at his website, and you'll find that it's about 7 or 8 years old, but it is still just as relevant today as it was when he wrote it. Because as creative people, as internet marketers, as people who create basically value with our brain and sell it, we need to understand what it is that we're going to be doing. I mean, really and truly, do we really think that the objective is going to be that we build a list of a gazillion people, and then once we build a list of gazillion people, then we just start sending out affiliate offers, or we start sending out our offers, and that's all we're going to do? Is that a sustainable income? And what Kevin Kelly says that might work, but ultimately the long term that will not sustain. Right, that if there's ever a change, when what typically happens to internet marketers is when you and I are actually getting our customers that way, when we're getting our leads that way, Facebook changes an algorithm. Google decides to change something that they're doing. YouTube decides they're going to have a different policy. I just saw this week that YouTube decided they were no longer going to monetize certain videos. What we have to understand is that all of these platforms are a vehicle, they're not the destination. And we're going to talk about the destination tonight. The destination is ultimately 1,000 true fans. I mean, we've got to be after 1,000 true fans, ultimately. And I'll tell you why that is in a minute. And so we're going to be just talking about deciding first on a marketing niche, right? Deciding on a marketing niche. And then we're going to talk about finding those 1,000 true fans. And tonight I'm going to get into what you are going to be able to do. Okay, let's see. Is everybody else, is everybody able to hear me fine? I think Jupiter Jim says he cannot hear me. Okay, if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. One person says they can't hear. So if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box. Okay, so it looks like, let's see. You should be able to hear me just fine. Okay, so Jupiter, see what you can do to adjust the settings in the web, because it should be coming through the web browser, or you can actually, I think you can sign up through the other link in GoToWebinar, and so you can actually sign up in GoToWebinar. I think I can give you another link where you can actually go inside of GoToWebinar if that is not working for you inside of the browser, the web browser. So let's see. I think I can give you an invite link, and that is what I will do. Let's see. How do you do that here? Okay, invite others. Okay. Okay. So looks like Jupiter, you rejoin me again. Can you hear me now? Hopefully you can. Okay. All right. So what we want to do is we want to find 1,000 true fans, and that's really what we're trying to do as an internet marketer. We are trying to ultimately um, find out who will buy $100 from us in a calendar year, right? Because $100, if we can find 1,000 people who will buy $100 from us in a calendar year, what we've done is we've built a sustainable base of income, right? That's $108,000. And so when we start to do that, then that's how we are going to be able to scale. That's how you're going to be able to start doing things like some of the more expensive ad buys. That's how you're going to be able to start going to the conferences and have the time to do that. And so what we have to do first is we've got to build that base of income. And so what we have to do is start looking for those people who will sustain us. And of course, it's not just a matter, right, of getting or building a membership site. I'm going to be talking about that here in this call, because as a business owner, right, what we've got to be after is how we're going to be able to provide value. Right? How we're going to be able to provide value. So ultimately, we want 1,000 true fans, because those 1,000 people who will buy $100 from us in the calendar year will sustain us at $108,000 a year. And what that breaks down into is 1,000 people who will spend $9 a month per buyer. Now, if I put it like that, how many of you understand the power of this concept? Because you can probably find, or you can probably figure out how to find 1,000 people who will spend $9 a month with you, right? And so there might be some ways that you might have to do that you might be able to provide the value, but you can ultimately direct your attention. You can build your business around looking to try to find those 1,000 people who will spend $100 per calendar year, and then not ultimately $9 a month. Right? That's a focus. It is more than a goal. It is a framework. And so that's what we're going to be talking about over in the 30-day challenge. And so what we're doing, right, is we're list building, yes, but we are list building for the fans and not for the numbers. So the ultimate objective is not just to have a gazillion people on our list. We don't care about that. Right? And I'll tell you why that's going to be important here as we get near the end. We don't care about having 10,000 people, except for this one fact, right? As we're building our business, as we're looking for those 1,000 true fans, what we might want to do is we might want to get the fans, right? So that we can kiss some frogs, so we can get the princess, right? Or the prince, depending on who you are, right? So we might have to kiss some frogs in order to get to the prince or the princess. But ultimately, what we want to do is we want to find those people who will spend money with us when we put something out. And really and truly, as I talked about in the last webinar, they can't wait for us to put something out. And so we have to find, we have to look through, we have to hunt through, we have to keep following through even after we sell products, right? It's not enough to sell a product. It's not enough to do an affiliate offer. We got to keep working. So one of the reasons why we build funnels. I understand this. I want you, I really, and when I got this, it really mattered to me and it really made a difference. The reason you build funnels is because you're trying to find the true fans. You're trying to find the people who will buy from you because they like what you have to offer, right? And when you find those people, what you've got to do is figure out what they need. Right? You build for the fans and not for the numbers. See, because there are always going to be people around the periphery who will buy once from you and twice from you, but there are going to be some people who like the value you provide, and you need to build for them and to continue to find other people like them. How many, now for most of us who are on this, how many of you all get that? Right? How many of you all understand why this is important? So we build the funnels. So we want to bring people deeper and deeper into the funnel because we're looking for the fans. We are list building because we are trying to drive deeper into the marketplace to find the fans, right? Not just the numbers. So when we're doing social media and we're doing engagement and we're doing writing emails and we're marketing, right? We're marketing with our list. We're marketing with our database. We are trying to get more sales, yes, but we are ultimately following through the sale to get the fans, right? We want to find the people who like us enough to spend with us on a monthly basis at least $9, right? If we can find those people, and continue to satisfy them, right? Continue to give them what they want. Continue to give them the value that they expect what's going to happen is we're going to build that base at $108,000 a year, and then we're going to take that base, and then we're going to build from that, and we're going to start to develop ourselves from the trade, right? Internet marketing stops being a trade, and we're going to move it from trade to profession, right? But we got to get it to that level. And then once we get to that level, then what we do is that's when we begin to do the conferences and all the other things, and we start to do some of those things that you expect from somebody who becomes a market leader, right? But we've got to move it from the trade to the profession, and we do that by finding 1,000 true fans. So that's the means, right? The means is 1,000 true fans. How do we move from trade to profession? The means are 1,000 true fans. So what's the method, right? What's the method to get the fans? And we're going to be talking about this in the 30-day challenge. Ultimately, we got to define a market, right? And we have to go far enough to pick a sub niche. Now, what am I talking about that? Because probably the easiest thing to do and the most difficult thing to do is to find the area where we are delivering the most value, right? Where we can deliver the most value. You and I have to find the sub niche, an area where we can continually deliver some kind of value that people can only get from us. Now, we'll be talking about during the 30-day challenge a USP, but a USP is a unique selling proposition, right? It's not just a tagline. It's not what we say about ourselves. A unique selling proposition is a place we pick in the market that we know people are looking for stuff, and we're uniquely able to provide it. Right? So we've got to define our market. We've got to pick a sub niche. And most of us already know what that is. It just might be a little scary to commit to it. Right? Most of us already know what that sub niche is. But when you decide and you pick a sub niche, what you're doing is you are taking a stand, and you are putting you're putting your flag in the ground, and you're going after your sub niche. Right? Most of us already know what that is. We already know where we provide the most value. But when you commit to it, what that means is that all the other extra stuff, right? When you commit to a sub niche, it means that all the other additional ways to make money online, all the additional ways that we were supplementing our income with, we have to table some of those things. We have to put some of those things to the side. We've got to leave some of those things so we can focus on finding the fans, right? So we can focus. Because ultimately, if we never find those things, here's what's going to happen. Here's what our internet marketing becomes. It becomes a hustle, right? And none of us want to be 70 hustling behind our computer screen. But if we don't find the fans, that's what it's going to be. We continue to hustle. And listen, nothing wrong with the hustle, y'all, right? Nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, we don't want to hustle this forever, because a hustle takes time. A hustle takes time every single month doing the same thing month after month, and then we're still chasing the money. And we don't want to be chasing the money all the time. We want ultimately our fans to be chasing after us. So define a market. Pick a sub niche. Determine the market. What do I mean by determining a market? I'm talking about finding out who these people are. Who are these people that you know are going to be wanting to buy? Who are they? Right? Who are they? Get to know them. Whatever you have to do. I mean, some people, and they do it absolutely brilliantly. Musicians do this better than anyone. Right? They go to the city where their people are, and they meet them. Right? They meet them. They find out who these people are. They meet them, whether it's online or in person. Find out who the people are. We're going to talk about where they are. So where are they? Right? Where do they hang out online? Well, are they, because assuming that they're on Facebook, that may or may not be true. Yes, you can run Facebook ads. Yes, you can run YouTube ads. But should we assume that that's where they are? They may or may not be. We have to find them. What do they say their problems are? And I put this in a specific way because it's important. What do they say their problems are? Right? What do they say? Now, I'm not talking about what you have determined and what I have determined they want. I'm saying, what do they say their problems are in their language? What do they say? We have to find out what their language is and what they say their problems are. So we have to determine what the market is. We have to diagnose the market. So yes, this is what they say their problems are, but then we have to determine first the solutions that they know they need, right? So we have to list them. We have to know them. So they know what their problems are. At least they know what they say they are. And so we've got to find the solutions that they know they need. Right? They know they need these solutions, and we have to be good at giving it to them. We have to diagnose the market. We also have to diagnose the solutions they don't know they need. Right? They don't know everything. Right? So that's why we become the expert. That's why we become the authority. That's why we are in the place where we are in our niche, because not everybody even knows the solutions that they need. Not everybody knows the right questions to ask. Right? Seriously. Again, now I don't say this in any other way to try to bring attention to myself, but I do know PLR. Right? And so I know and so some people I know when I'm talking to them, I know they don't know the right questions to ask. I know they don't know everything that they could possibly be doing with it. and so I can help people. I can help people determine the solutions that they don't know they need. Some people know what they need from something like PLR, but some people don't know what they need. And so we've got to be able to do both, whatever our niche is. Now, diagnose the market. We have to differentiate in that market. Right? So we have to differentiate. So here's where the key is. And here, this might be the hard part, the easy part, but actually, once we do this, what we're going to do is our fans are going to be easier to find, because our fans are going to be looking for us, and we're going to find out that the people that we were looking for were actually looking for us when we differentiate. In other words, what is it that we do, our USP, that other people don't do that matters to the customer? Right? So they want something. They may or may not know what it is. We bring it to them in a way they wanted it, and so they've got to come to us to get it. Right? It's really that simple. We have to differentiate. What is it that you offer? And PLR, I'm telling you, makes it so incredibly easy to differentiate. Right? Once you understand, we're going through this 30-day challenge. When you understand how easy it is for you to differentiate inside of your niche, you are going to be a powerhouse in so many kinds of ways that you are going to be surprised at the results you're going to be able to get once you differentiate. Right? Now, and what you and I have to ultimately do, and here's where it comes back down to, and most of us will probably see a little success here, and then we'll stop. That's dealing in the market. That's developing a product line. Right? And so what happens is, as internet marketers, it naturally happens. We develop a service. Right? Some of us get success as a consultant. Some of us get success as a coach. Some of us get success as a product creator, and then we stop. Right? We stop. We stop because the money's coming in. We stop because we see some stuff coming in, and hey, you know what? Here's a nice, we can take a nice vacation and the whole deal. But what happens is, if we don't develop a product line because we know who our fans are, we eventually have to get right back on the wheel and start recreating it again. Right? We should be developing a product line for the people that are going to be our fans. We have to develop that, right? So we're dealing in the marketplace. That product line is vital, because if I'm buying from you, right? If I'm bought from you once, what you have to do is you have to find out what else I want to buy from you. I might be willing to buy more from you. And if you never develop it, what will eventually happen is somebody else will sell it to me. Right? Somebody else will sell it to me. And really, all you've got to do is get me to buy from you once a month at $9 a month. Right? That's all you've got to do. But if you don't know what I need, and you never develop the product line, because look, you and I, we kind of get fat and happy on what it is that we find. It happens, and then we end up stopping the process at the point at which we're just about there. Right? The product line is important. The product line is valuable. The product line is where you find the 1,000 true fans. If you never develop the product line, I might have bought from you once back in 1906, but now it's 2016. What have you done for me lately? And the fact of the matter is, I'm probably willing to buy from you again. But if you never develop the product line, you never send me out anything, you never talk to me, right? You might not ever get to that point where I'm buying from you that one product a month, right? That one thing from you that's $9 every month. So you've got to deal in the marketplace. You got to develop a product line. Then you got to deliver value in the market. And that's your platform. Now I know I'm looking at a number of you. I already know some of you all. You all have podcasts. You all have Facebook Lives. You have blogs, and that's where we have to be on or some of you all doing webinar, whatever you do, right? You and I have to be doing something on a regular basis to provide value. Give, give, give before you ever receive, right? You have to give more in the marketplace than you're going to get back, right? If you and I are not giving on a regular basis, and again, listen, I know how hard it is to um, to create content, right? But it's more than that. It's really understanding who those 1,000 people are and giving them value, knowing who they are, delivering to them on a regular basis, and giving them something to help them in their lives. If your market are small business owners, that means that you and I have to be delivering on a regular basis something that's going to help them to grow, something that's going to help them achieve, something that's going to help them overcome on a regular basis, right? Delivering, right? And that's what we do. We use our platform, right? What I think, again, this is it's a disease, and it's not shiny object syndrome. What it is, it's we want to do so much, and we have to commit to kind of our market or our sub niche, which means that we give up on some of the other ways that we're sort of doing okay for us to focus on the fans. And that, but once we do that, then we can kind of focus on the value that we are able to deliver. We need a platform. We need a platform. You need a blog. You need a Facebook. You need a blog talk, something. Blog talk, and it needs to be regular. And I have been saying this for the last 3 to 4 years. It has to be regular. Do a webinar. Do it regular. Every single week, you need to be there. If it's a YouTube video, every single week you need to be there. And look, I understand, and I've heard that you could do, you could say, well, you can make it once a month, or you can make it, once every 2 months or something like that. I honestly don't believe that. I honestly think that if you are going to develop a platform that's going to pay you, right, $108,000 a year, right, finding 1,000 true fans for $100 a year, then you and I have to be willing to either get in there on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, something, right? Minimum, it's got to be weekly, in my opinion, right? Because people's attention span, they just go to other things. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to find the fans. It's not just making a sale. It's finding the fans. And so we've got to deliver value to them. We've got to know them and deliver the value from our platform. And so when we have 1,000 true fans, what's going to happen is, what you're going to find out is that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do Facebook Live and YouTube and Instagram and all this stuff, right? When you find your 1,000 true fans, you are going to find out that if what you're doing is a regular podcast, you get good at that podcast and giving value in it, right? Make it awesome, right? What happens to us is we want to do everything, and as a result, the one thing that we do that's sort of cool, we don't make it awesome. That if we just kind of said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do a webinar, and I'm going to do it on a weekly basis, and it is going to be the most awesome thing in the world, right? That's a starting point. Not trying to do everything. Now, you might take your webinar and share it every place, but what I'm talking about is developing a platform where you are awesome. It could be a local workshop. If you are going to do a week, and I honestly believe by doing a weekly local workshop, you can be awesome and just as awesome. And you can, listen, you can find your 1,000 true fans if you do a local workshop every single month. And I contend that where you get the fans is inconsequential, right? You don't have to get them the way everybody else says you got to get them. You can get them if you decide you're going to get them by doing a local workshop. You can do it if you're going to do a local radio show. You can find 1,000 true fans. You just got to get them, right? And then, okay, so delivering value on a regular basis. Now, I say database intelligently, right? In that market, you have to build, obviously you got to build a list, but you got to build it right, right? So again, we're not trying to build a list to have 1 million people. What we're trying to do, as I said, is we're trying to kiss enough frogs to get the prince or the princess, right? So we want to we don't want to write stuff to keep people on our list. We want to write stuff to our fans, right? And if everybody else who leaves, let them leave. Don't let the doorknob hit you on the way out, right? But if we write to the fans, our 1,000 true fans, as we grow them, they will eventually be the people who are going to be on our list, and the people who don't resonate with us, they're going to eventually fall off. So what? Right? So what? We have to database intelligently in order to get the 1,000 true fans. And finally, we just got to develop authority in the marketplace. And all that is developing, right? Going to conferences, keeping our heads buried in a book, keeping our heads buried in information products, learning all the time. If you and I do, if you don't have a regular learning program, if you and I don't go to these, and sometimes this means that we might have to drop, right, a couple of grand to go to a conference so we can learn something. Right? I think traffic and conversions this year that Ryan Dice is doing, it's something like $997. But guess what? Um, when you go to that, you're going to be all the better for it. Russell Brunson's thing, $700. Right? In San Diego. Yep, it's going to cost money. You're going to have to take time off to do it. It's going to be a big inconvenience. So what? Right? 1 year from now, it won't matter, and you will be developing in the marketplace. And no, it's not even a matter of telling people, well, and taking pictures and saying, well, look, I put my arm around Ryan Dice. That's not what it's about. It's getting what's there and developing so that you become an authority in your niche. Now, I'm not talking about internet marketing, whatever your niche is. Listen, if your niche is weight loss, you need to be at the weight loss conference, whatever it is, right? If you are in the chiropractor or the small business consulting niche, you need to be at that conference, whatever they are, all of them, right? All of them. You say, well, I can't afford them, all of them. Well, that's why we got to get to the $108,000. One of the reasons why we got to get to from the trade income to the profession income is so that we'll be able to do those things, which will cause us to grow exponentially. Well, listen, when you begin to stop thinking about the cost of the conferences that you need to go to and just put them on the calendar and pay for them, then what's going to happen is you will start to grow exponentially, right? I guarantee you. And even if it's a sacrifice, right, most of us could probably beg, borrow, and steal to get the money for a conference, right? Most of us could sell some stuff, right? I wouldn't suggest that you discount stuff, but even if you had to discount some stuff and sell it so you'd have the money to pay for traffic and conversions, you need to do it, right? Because again, to develop authority in the market is so that other people will recognize you're an authority, but that comes from having the knowledge. That comes from applying the knowledge. That comes from getting new cutting edge ideas and seeing them work in the business. Right? Social proof is when we bring to our niche, our sub-niche, depriving value, we've developed authority because we're developing ourselves. Right? Ultimately, we're developing ourselves. Okay, so to find the 1,000 true fans, the method is these 8 Ds. And we're going to be talking about that during the 30-day challenge, the 8D method. Now, what's the material we're going to use? Well, now, you know me, so I'm going to be talking about, you can do this with any kind of content or product creation there is. But what you're going to need, right, on a regular basis is new, fresh content and ideas on a regular basis. That's really part of the reason why you and I need to be going to conferences and stuff like that, right? And since we're not necessarily looking to rank and search, we need to find high quality, reliable PLR, right? Because again, we need to be producing new ideas that are going to help our niche all the time, right? High quality, reliable PLR. And so each one of those Ds I talked about, you're going to see the value using PLR over the course of the next 30 days. Even if you choose not to use PLR, you decide to create it all yourself, right? If you like to create it all yourself, fine. That's wonderful. I'm going to suggest you learn how to do it with PLR, right? Because the game in internet marketing, right? The game in internet marketing is to make sure that your ideas are present and they're authoritative and they help people. Right? But most of the time what happens is we just don't have enough of them, right? We don't have enough of them and they're not out in front of enough people, and PLR will help you do that. Now, finally, the meaning. What does this mean? Why is this important? If I were to tell you, right, as an internet marketer, you would understand this, right? The first thing that I said up there, we understand that that a specific goal like this would help us. So we can understand if we said, well, what I ultimately want in my business is to have 1,000 people paying me $17 a month, right? That's true. But here's what I want to ask you, right? And anybody who's ever done coaching, anybody who's ever done information products, anybody who's ever done anything, who do you want those 1,000 people to be? Who do you want them to be? Now, again, I'm not saying that you're going to turn people's money down, but in some points, you might need to turn some money down. You might want to turn some money down. Who do you want those 1,000 people to be? Well, I don't care who they are, Charles. I bet you do. You care who those 1,000, who do you want to do business with? Who do you want to help? Those people, it matters. It matters who those people are. And if we don't detail this, if we don't understand this, we will not get what we want, right? Because in order to serve those people, to create the content, to go deep and provide these people with what they want, you sort of want to have people you like. You sort of want to have people that you have some affinity to. You want to have some people that, look, if they're having an event, you want to be there, right? You want to have this. These are fans. Right? I'm not talking about buyers. I'm talking about beyond buyers. Right? The 30-day challenge is going beyond getting buyers. Again, getting buyers is. I'm not saying it's easy to do. I'm saying though, it may or may not sustain us. Right? It may or may not. We've got to have fans. So the people who are waiting for what we want to put out when we get ready to release something. People who will buy from us every single month to the tune of $100 a year. All that breaks down to is $9 a month. So again, I'm not saying that you don't want to have a membership site. I think that'd be fine. I want to have 1,000. You can say to yourself, 1,000 members paying you monthly is $17 a month. It's right. But when you write a sales letter, this is some of the stuff we're going to be talking about during the 30-day challenge. You don't write a sales letter to get everybody and their mama to join your program, because that's who's going to join, and you will hate every minute of it, right? When you write a sales letter, even if you have fewer people, you want to write a sales letter and do a sales video so that you have the people who resonate with you and are kind of with you on your ideas. And you have to keep looking until you find those people. They're out there. Trust me, right? There are 1,000 people out there for everybody who's on this call that you resonate with. The fact of the matter is we got to keep looking for them till we get them, and we can't stop short of finding them, because we got some buyers, right? Well, oh wow, look, I got, somebody bought my stuff. They're buying my stuff. Yes, that's cool, but you and I have to keep looking and go beyond that to get the people who are going to sustain us. Because when you find the fans, right, then not only are you providing the kind of value you want to provide, man, it's just a lot more fun, right? When you like the people that you do business with, it's a lot more fun. And I'll just say this. I'll just say this parenthetically, and I don't say it's a brag. When I wrote a sales letter about a membership I did, I wrote it on purpose, because quite honestly, the people that end up there, I don't know how it happens. I just like those people, right? And I'm not saying that if you're not there, that I don't like you, but I'm saying though, it just happens that way. The people that end up coming there, I tend to like them. Right? And so it's a lot easier to do business that way. And I don't care if I don't have 10 gazillion people until then, right? What's important is that I'm providing the value that they want. And so I'll keep looking for the fans. And so you and I have to be willing to keep looking for the fans. And so that's what we'll be talking about during this 30-day challenge and this year. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. Every webinar is not going to go longer than 30 minutes. I'm not sure when we're going to start. We're going to start next week, one day, and we're just going to kind of keep going until we go through these 4 sections, right? And we're going to keep going until we take the trade and turn it into the profession, and that's what we're going to be doing. If you did not get your hands on last year's 30-day challenge, make sure you do that, right? Because that's going to talk about the trade. You can still get it. It's still available. at superfastactionbonus.com/30-day. I'll tell you what I'll do is I will, and I don't have this written here, but I will put a code here that will be, I'll say, we'll call the code 2016, 2016, and then I will reduce the price to by 80%. 2016 will be the code. I'll do that right after the call. If you don't have the 30-day challenge, you want to get it, because honestly, I think it's required learning for internet marketers. It is your starting point. Any questions? Any questions? 1,000 true fans. So I'm going to suggest you read the article, right? Before we get started in the 30-day challenge. As I said, we're going to start next week, and then we will dive into this. And I think that's going to be beneficial for everyone. So any questions? Any questions? Any questions? So again, the code's going to be the discount code's going to be 2016, and I will put that in here. And yep, and then we will do that. Any questions? Well, okay, everybody. Well, I certainly thank you all for being here. I appreciate you, and appreciate all that you all are doing. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.